So there's a lot of big games that are coming out this year, right? A lot of games that are massively, anticipated. Unfortunately, GTA 6 has been delayed till next year, so that's no longer the most anticipated game of this year. But this year still, 2025, is still a really great year for video games. And one of those video games that a decent amount of people are looking forward to, and me being one of them, which I'll get into a little bit more as we go through this video, is Borderlands 4. Borderlands 4 is another installment in the extremely popular and extremely famous Borderlands series. Now, if you don't know anything about Borderlands, it is arguably like the game that revolutionized the looter shooter genre. I'm just going to say this right now. I'm a massive Borderlands fan. I have been for years. I have played every single one of those games, right? Like this right here, like Borderlands 1, I have, 23 hours in. Borderlands 2, I have over 262 hours in. The pre-sequel, I have 41 hours in. And Borderlands 3 on Steam, I only have 23 hours. But I originally got the game on Epic because if you know anything about Borderlands, you know a lot about it. The game was initially released only on the Epic Games launcher. Another dumb decision by fucking Gearbox, honestly. So I didn't get Borderlands 3 until way later on Steam, right? And I mainly got it for the achievements. So I'm a massive fan of Borderlands, yeah? I think that even if you're not, you still can't argue that Borderlands, especially Borderlands 2, by far the most important games of when it comes to the looter shooter genre, right? Borderlands 2 is the greatest looter shooter of all time, from gameplay to the writing, story, everything from the top down. It is just an amazing game. So with Borderlands 4 coming out, a lot of people are excited about it, right? But one thing that a lot of people have questioned about it, and a lot of people are wondering, is when it comes to the price of the game. And one user on Twitter, he was very intrigued about how much the game would cost, right? So he replied to a recent tweet that Randy Pitchford, who, if you don't know, he is the CEO of Gearbox, put out. He put out a tweet promoting the game, right? And under that, this guy replied to it saying, Randy, this game better not be $80. Don't take that risk. A lot of gamers aren't going to pay $80 and feed this notion of constant increase of the price tag. You are the CEO. You have some say with the price when it comes to your publisher. Now, Randy Pitchford, which I am surprised he even replied to this. Usually, this would just be another tweet but Randy, this guy's very infamous, right? Extremely infamous in if you know a lot about Borderlands and in the Gearbox scene. I mean, this guy, when it came to PAX, I think it was PAX West, he did a fucking magic show on the stage that, instead of just outright being his Borderlands 3, motherfucker decided to do a magic show for 15 minutes.
This is the only envelope that has something written on it, even though all of the other envelopes do have something written on it. It's just not something.
So he decided to reply to this tweet saying, A, not my call of when it comes to the price of it. Now, Gearbox, they don't publish the game, right? 2K are the ones who publish Borderlands, and it is the exact same thing for Borderlands 4, but you cannot tell me, as the CEO of the company that is developing the game, that you have no say or no decisions at all of when it comes to the cost of the games. There is no way in hell that you don't have even a little bit of a say or an influence of when it comes to the cost of the game. But then this is really where a lot of people got annoyed with this, is that he says, B, if you're a real fan, you'll find a way to make it happen. My local game store had Starflight for Sega Genesis for $80 in 1991. When I was just out of high school working minimum wage at an ice cream parlor in Pismo Beach, and I found a way to make it happen. Now, this argument is used a lot in this day, right? Where we have seen a massive increase in game prices, where it's just but inflation, games back then used to cost so much, they used to cost a lot, and especially if you put it down to inflation, games should be costing even more. And that's where I say is well, yes and no, because the gaming landscape now is so much bigger than what it used to be. You're competing with so many other games. And not only that, but like making a game back in the 90s, you had to be a AAA company. You had to be a company in order to make a video game. Now, you get these indie developers that can make games for fucking $20. And then when it comes to him saying about if you're a real fan, you'll find a way to make it happen. That I can agree with him to a certain extent, right? Is that when it comes to Borderlands 4, is that this game has and this franchise has a very dedicated fan base, right? And me, one of them, okay? Like, you can hate me for it, right? And if you do, rightfully fucking so, you can say that, Donnie, you are part of the problem, is that I'm probably going to be one of those people who are going to buy the games because I am a hardcore player when it comes to Borderlands. One of my best friends, we met and became friends because of Borderlands. Like, that's why we're close, was initially because when Borderlands 3 came out, we connected at uni because of that game. But the thing is that you don't have to worry about the hardcore fan base. You shouldn't be like saying that like, oh, people like me are going to find a way to buy the game. You should be thinking about the casual audience. And the casual audience is not going to fork out $80 for Borderlands 4, especially because Borderlands itself, it has been in a decline of its reputation over the last like few years, especially with the release of Borderlands 3. Like I mentioned earlier in the video, is that Borderlands 2 is one of the greatest, like it is the greatest looter shooter out there. If you want to play a looter shooter at its peak, I recommend Borderlands 2 without a fucking doubt. It is amazing, and its DLCs that come with the game too are incredible. Fucking love that game. Like I've showed, I pumped hundreds of hours into that fucking game. But when Borderlands the pre-sequel, which that came out afterwards before I get into Borderlands 3, is that Borderlands the pre-sequel, which it wasn't directly like developed by the same people who made Borderlands 2. It was developed here in Australia by another like studio, but it's still under that Borderlands umbrella. And it wasn't like terrible, but it wasn't all that great either, yeah? And then Borderlands 3 came out, right? As in, like, everyone just kind of pushed Borderlands pre-sequel aside. It was like, listen, it wasn't that great, but it's not a direct sequel, so we're fine with it not being all that good. And when Borderlands 3 came out, is that, like, it was, in terms of gameplay, Borderlands 3's gameplay is 100%. They really refined the gameplay from Borderlands 2 into Borderlands 3. But the one thing that made Borderlands 2 revolutionary was not just its gameplay, but also its writing and its story. Handsome Jack is by far considered one of the greatest video game villains of all time. Not just in looter shooters or FPS, no. He is an amazing villain and people fucking love him. So the fact that then they had to live up to that hype with Borderlands 3, and the villains in that game, the two twins, like, they are so shit. They are so bad. And like also when it comes to the writing of Borderlands 3, Borderlands 2 had very smart humor, right? It was like humor where it hit the nail right and it was really good, it was quirky, but it wasn't too much, right? It wasn't cringe. Where Borderlands 3, it just had that millennial humor where it's just like, it's cringe, it's not funny. And after a while, especially having to listen to the twins all the time, you kind of just want to end up bashing your head against the wall. So like Borderlands' reputation has dropped so much over the years since Borderlands 2. And because of that, you're not going to get a lot of casual people wanting to save up $80 to buy this game. And if you want examples of that, all you have to do is look at Doom the Dark Ages. I mean, Doom has got an amazing reputation with ID Software. Doom 2016, Doom Eternal, both amazing games. That game came out at an $80 price tag, and if you look at its Steam charts, it hasn't sold well, and it has not reached a great concurrent players, like all-time players. It really hasn't. 31,000 for Doom the Dark Ages, it really isn't great. And a majority of their players, from what I have seen, have actually come from the Xbox Game Pass. But at least with Doom, it's not too bad, because ID Softwares, they're a subsidiary of another company that's then a subsidiary of Microsoft. So like Microsoft own ID Softwares like a couple tiers down, right? So Xbox Game Pass, it doesn't really matter too much. But when it comes to Borderlands 4, if they really want to turn over a profit, they are going to actually have to sell copies. I don't think it's going to be free on the Xbox Game Pass. I don't know at this point in time, but I don't think it will be. And even if it is, they can't rely to pick up players on the Xbox Game Pass like, say, Doom the Dark Ages can. And if you're still sitting here and telling me, Donnie, the game, it's a big game, right? It's massive. It's Borderlands. It's going to have to cost $80. No, it's not. No, it really shouldn't, right? Couple things. One, there are some games out there that I would say, yes, I feel like this is fine costing $80. One of them being GTA 6. When GTA 6 comes out, that game is going to be $80, right? It 100% will be. But that's GTA 6. Borderlands is not GTA 6. It does not have that kind of motion, okay? And another thing is that no, this game doesn't have to cost $80. A great example of that, Expedition 33, arguably game of the year for 2025. I have not gotten around to playing this game, right? Because my uni assignments have literally been fisting me up the asshole. I have been yet to I've done a lot of Oblivion Remastered, right? But I still haven't finished the main story. I've been doing a lot of side quests. Still haven't played Doom the Dark Ages because of uni. And I haven't gotten around to playing Expedition 33. But I have still heard that everyone is saying it's hands down game of the year. That game costs $50. $50 for game of the year. So no, these games don't need to cost $80. And if anything, you can't afford it to cost $80 because you're competing up against games like Expedition 33 that are considered game of the year already that cost $50. And if people are going to say, am I going to want to play Borderlands 4 that has had a downhill reputation post the release of Borderlands 2? Or am I going to want to play Expedition 33 that's made from a small, extremely passionate team that costs $50 and is considered game of the year? Well, if I'm the casual audience, I'm going to lean towards Expedition 33. I'm not going to lean towards Borderlands 4. And it sucks to hear because this is coming from a massive fucking Borderlands fan. Like I said, I'm probably going to be one of those idiots that's going to fork out the money to buy the game because I am a massive fan. But Randy fucking Pitchfork should not be catering towards people like me. Honestly, this quote itself, where it's, if you're a real fan, you'll find a way to make it happen. I think that this is honestly up there with some of the worst gaming quotes that we've seen when it comes to, the EA quote of provide players with a sense of pride and accomplishment. And then also when it came to the Sony Interactive boss saying, if you don't like it, don't buy it. And then the extremely infamous Diablo Immortal, everyone has a phone.
Are there any, the current plan is to be on mobile, both Android and iOS. We don't have any plans at the moment to do PC. Do you guys not have phones?
Yeah, you guys all have phones, right?
This is what this is gonna go down as, right? I think Randy's just stupid. Honestly, as much as I've liked Borderlands for years and I've liked Gearbox to a certain extent, I can't stand Randy. And majority of people can't either. A lot of people who are fans of Borderlands can't stand this fucking dude, and this is given another reason for people not to like him. But I would definitely like to hear what you guys think about all this down below. Are you looking forward to Borderlands 4? Are you kind of more a bit skeptical now because of the what the pricing of the game could be? Like I said, this isn't a definitive pricing of the game, but honestly, I think the game will be $80, and if it really is $80, it's not a good move for them. It won't. It will definitely hinder sales exponentially. If they had to just make the game $20 cheaper and make it like a $60 game, it would sell a lot more and probably turn over a bigger profit than if they had to make the game $80. That $20 makes a lot of difference. But yeah, that's going to be it from me. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. Peace out.